I am Okoyemi, and you're welcome to Legal Bounce. You know how we do it on this show. We talk about law in the most simplest way that you could have ever heard it for your understanding. On today's show, I have both a lawyer and a non-lawyer with me. Our lawyer is experienced, and she's going to be giving you the legal aspect, while the non-lawyer will be talking from a layman's understanding. I have with me Oluyemi,
Hi guys.
and I also have Michael with me.
Hi.
On today's episode, we are going to be talking about a topic that is trending. This is the Student Loan Access to Higher Education Act. It's been recently signed into law by the president of the country, and we're going to be talking about it. In my opinion, I feel this is a very good, it's a good step for the country. We've always been clamoring for change, we've been clamoring for better education and all, and I feel this is a good start, but I have my own reservation on this topic. So I'll be asking Michael, what do you think about the Student Loan Access to Higher Education Act?
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for bringing me in.
You're welcome.
So, like the name of the bill, it's called the Students Loan. So, if I may say, it is to me like in a layman English. So to me, it is a very seamless kind of loan because it's also from the federal government, if I may understand very well. And I've learned to since I've become like this. I've been hearing about it. I've been hearing about so many kind of laws like this. Student loan. If you go to the advanced countries, also they have it over there. So now that it's coming to us, the new president just signed it in, sometimes last week, and it's a good news. But the thing is, I don't want to say but yet. But okay, let me say but.
Say your vote.
The thing is, I want to see. I really want to see it come. Like I want it to come into action. I want it to because it's meant for the indigent Nigerians,
Yes.
poor people who are unable to, do so many things in school.
Yeah.
Sure, you understand. So it's a new development for Nigeria, and I hope that we, at the end of the day, we say we clap about it, we celebrate it at the end of the day. Thank you.
All right. So I think that everybody says it's good. It's a law, right? So there's always the good side. There's the difficult side. There's different people perceive it in different way. Yeah, I think I've seen someone say that's not what the Nigerian education system needs. That the Nigerian education needs quality and not access. That a lot of people can actually find their way into the university, but the quality of education they get, is it commensurate? Does it make sense? So, however, for me, I really do not feel any type of way about it. I don't feel good. I don't feel bad about it. I'm kind of neutral, and it is basic. My reasons are basic. If you look at the act itself, it's not like I want to walk into Access Bank or into UBA and get this loan. It's a procedure. So as a student of any government school, like it's not for private schools, because for you to be going to private school, you have money.
Fully rich.
Of
Yeah.
course. So the fund or the whole law is about government
Federal
schools.
schools, yeah.
So if you want, whether federal or state,
Yeah.
so if you want to go to any of these schools and you do not have the money, and you must prove that you don't have that money. And how do you prove? The law is saying your parent or yourself must not be any more than 500,000 naira per annum. I mean, I don't know. I know that there are people like that okay, you cannot afford that kind of money. So, but another thing is you're not going to the bank yourself. You're applying through your school. So the school is expected, for instance, if it is University of Lagos, and I got an admission into University of Lagos, for me to be able to access it, I would apply to my school. They would attach my admission letter. The school will profile you. They are the one that will do the due diligence whether you can actually afford this money, this fee or not. So when they look at all of your papers, again, we are not forgetting that there must be two guarantors. And that's where my own challenge is. So the law is saying you must present two guarantors. These two guarantors, one of them must be a civil servant of at least level 12. The second person must be a lawyer of at least 10 years experience post-call. So an indigent person, I have worked a lot with indigent people, right? I've worked a lot with indigent people. I know when you say indigent, in the real sense of indigent, I do not think that anybody in that position can access either of these two persons. Now, what the government is asking the guarantors to do is not just reference, because I remember back in the days when I was in school and we are looking for bursary. The state government always give us bursary. They will tell you the Oba of your community must reference you. I mean, that's just a reference. But this is somebody guaranteeing this loan that should you not pay, should you default, I am ready to pay. I mean, I'm a lawyer, right? And I have 10 years post-call. And I'm imagining somebody walking up to me who is an indigent person telling me to sign this thing.
Someone that you don't
that I don't really know.
You would say no, definitely.
I'll probably say no, right? So the probability of applicants or the people who this law is actually to help, the probability of them fulfilling those requirements, to me, I think is very slim. Now, if you manage to now get the guarantor, they sign for you. Now, this whole thing goes from the school take it to the student affairs. The student affairs then take it to the education bank. Now, so it is not just a commercial bank. The act itself has established a bank for this particular purpose, and the bank would be called Nigerian Education Bank. And the bank will be in Abuja with branches all over the 36 states of Nigeria. So when you have people, okay, the law says it has to be within 30 days. So it means that the school, now let's go back to it. I'm looking at the entire procedure and how it is doable. So the school must compile the names of all applicants within 30 days from the close of their admission for that year, for that academic year. So let's say admission closes today. Between today and the next 30 days, they must compile all the names of the applicant with the requirement. So it goes back to the requirement we are talking about. Is it achievable that an applicant gets these two requirements within that 30 days? So there's every probability that a lot of applications must have gone before some people are able to meet up with the requirement. What happens to those people? So when applications are made, it gets to the bank has 30 days to process it. The Minister of Education must sign. I mean, it's a whole lot of procedure. So, I mean, when you look, laws should be made easy. I feel like we've gone to an age where things shouldn't be this difficult. And Nigerians. Yeah. I mean, you can look at it and say, okay, they can do it now. But that's when you'll be going back and forth. And frustrate. Some people will even voluntarily frustrate you in the process. So it's a whole lot of procedure. And eventually, when the money is given, when we are not forgetting that it is only for tuition.
Yeah, just for school fees.
Just for school fees. Yeah. So you can't collect student loan for accommodation. You can't collect student loan for textbooks. It is just for tuition. Yeah. So when you eventually get the loan, how do you pay back? Fine, it is interest free.
Yeah.
You are not paying any form of interest on it. And the law is saying you start paying after 2 years of NYSC. I have a problem.
That's where my voice lies.
Okay, I want to hear your voice.
Because, I'm also a fresh graduate, right? Yeah. Not fresh, but I know how the system works. Now, I feel the problem that Nigeria has is we don't really have problems of access to education, in my point of view. Because I attended the public university, and I would say no matter how expensive it was, even for the low and the medium class, parents still put everything they could put together to send children to school. So it's like it's about the employment, because the amount of graduates that coming out of school every year, no job. So it's not about the access to education. Public university were way more cheaper before.
Yeah.
Like you can be paying 15K for tuition fee. When I entered uni, we were paying like 150K, 120K. Some people were even paying more than that. And the sites that were coming behind me, they were paying like way more than that. People were complaining. But no matter how expensive it got, parents still were still able to gather the money and send their kids. Even if they couldn't, there were kids that were, doing one or two things so that
For
they
themselves
could,
too.
for themselves to
Yeah.
save up.
Yeah.
Now, my point is, okay, fine. Now there's a loan that's been introduced. It doesn't just help you to not, okay, let me just lay back and borrow money so that I can have access to it. Now, how much is even the school fees? It's not even up to £1 million, right? Then you go and borrow money. Now you graduate, your neck is not even free because you have a debt of 400k, 300k on your neck. So for me, it's not. I don't know. I don't feel what we need is a loan. The problem that the government should solve first is this employment issue. So, like, if graduates down ground get jobs, then they don't really have problems paying up school fees. Then even if you are saying they should start paying 2 years after graduation, after NYC rather, what's the guarantee or the probability that you actually get a job? You understand?
Okay,
Because
I
there
was
are people in my
about to
state
ask that
that still
question
don't
as
have
well,
a
that-
job now.
Up till now,
Yeah,
right?
Now,
after-
if they tell you how much they earn, you like, how are you surviving on this below minimum wage? Like, so how you just spend 10% for that matter? So it's a good one, but I don't know.
It has it, but it always has it.
Like
Okay,
that,
one thing I want to raise about it is, when our governments are coming up with this kind of ideas, as a Nigerian, we see it as there is a level of corruption that is coming up.
Definitely.
Because I also studied this act. I discovered that FRS is, how do you get these funds? You are getting 1% from the income of FRS in a year. You're getting from Nigeria Immigration
Customs.
Service and Custom.
Yeah.
And if you see this, a whole lot of money.
Yeah, of course.
So now the problem is the disbursement. Who are the people? I'm sure that very soon they're going to raise people that will be in charge of this money. Maybe the
Yeah.
Director General or somebody that will be.
No, it's a lot of employment is also going to happen because
Okay.
if the bank is established, you have a bank, the head office of the bank in Abuja, you have the bank in 36 states of Nigeria, people are going to work there. So employment is going to happen. But my challenge is where the money comes in from is not a problem because it is you and I that is still paying that money.
Exactly.
If I'm paying money to FRS, every company is paying
Paying
money to FRS.
FRS, yeah.
The bill is saying 1% of all the money accrued by FIRS, customs, immigration, that belongs to the
NNPC.
federal government and NNPC.
Yeah.
1% of it will be taken as education tax. And that is where this bank will be getting resources from. The shares of the bank right now is about 1 billion naira. So 1 billion naira that will be paid by the federal government. Now, my challenge, like I keep saying, is that are we not going to have ghost students? When we have money
Yeah.
and the real students have challenge accessing it.
Although
While
the
the ghosts
act-
are getting it,
the act
people will now
also
go
kind
and
of
bring
made
their
provision
kids.
for ghost students.
Yes, because it's envisaged it. So here's what I'm saying. We have money on ground. 1 billion is going to get more. We're seeing people, good Nigerians who will also even donate to that bank for that purpose. So people are going to, that bank is going to get a lot of money. Here's what I'm saying. You have the money. The student who should access this
The
money
money.
have challenge meeting the requirements laid down by the law. So what will happen to that
To
money?
the money.
Eventually, we are going to have student ghosts taking
The
money.
money because
Or
people
ghost
in
students.
charge of these things will now go and begin to bring
names.
fabricate names of people
And fabricate
getting
documents,
getting their families ready for
Don't
this money
forget,
to
we
come.
do not even have enough data because
No
we've
database.
not gotten to the point of repayment. So you say when I finish my NYSC. So after NYSC, who is tracing who? How do
Who is
you know
tracking
where? I served in Akwa Ibom State, for instance. I schooled in Ekiti State. I took that loan. I'd given address and data of Ekiti State at the
State.
point of accessing it. I left Ekiti State. I went to NYSC in Akwa Ibom State. I left Akwa Ibom State. I came to Lagos State to work. Who is tracking me from Akwa Ibom to Lagos?
Lagos.
And who knows where I'm now working? Now the law says when I default in payment, it is liable to 2 years imprisonment.
500,000 naira.
Fine.
But wait, who is tracking someone that after your NYC you go outside the country?
Country,
Or
you
will,
know,
will they say that because of you have a credit issue or you've not paid back, you will not travel
It
out?
is actually trackable. But
Okay.
the problem now is we've not gotten to
So,
that
yeah,
stage.
it is, of course.
Like you can
it
be
is.
tracked with your BVN
Yeah,
and all of this, but
mhm.
we've not gotten to the stage where you typically to catch criminal like this in Nigeria, it's still kind of hard.
Yeah, yeah.
How much more you now want to catch someone that's owing a loan to the federal government? And I feel that in most developed
And I'm even
countries,
thinking, when has debt become a criminal offense, that the law is then saying I should go to prison?
To prison,
exactly.
For it. I mean, you
It's-
sue me and
That's
get your
true,
money.
like-
When has owing a debt or
Being a
owing a
criminal
loan
offense.
being a criminal? It's confusing. So these are the things you look at in that law, and you now look at and start faulting it. And I go back to the requirement again. So the requirement says if any of your parents has owned a financial institution or any organization at all,
At all.
they won't
you
give
cannot
loan.
access that loan. When I believe that as a lawyer, they said the sin of someone
the
else should not be
son should not be
meted
seen
on
on
me.
it.
Why should my parents' sin should be meted on me?
me.
All right, I am
It's
the
not fair.
applicant. Why is the fact that my parent is owing
And
pampe?
you will be the one
Abikuda.
to pay back, not
Not the parents.
So
So why is
Why
is
is
that
written
a
it on-
requirement
It's
for
not
me
supposed to
accessing the
be.
loan? So they have made the accessibility of even of the loan itself very difficult. And I see that Nigerians are owing pampe. Nigerians go to app and borrow money and not pay back. And I'm
Pampe,
thinking, so it is loan of 5 years after, 6 years after, you want to track. You go hard,
I
oh.
feel the way this thing is done in advanced countries,
Yeah.
once you get student loan and you can't pay for like a period of 10-15 years, they like automatically waive it for you.
Yeah.
I don't think you go to prison
For
for
it.
it. No. And I feel if Nigeria was to waive it, they can, because this school fees we're talking about is not millions of naira. These international funds that we're talking about of student loan, these are millions.
Do you
of
know there are some
naira.
schools? There are some schools that still pay as low as 50, less than 50K in Nigeria.
Yes.
So I'm thinking, who thinks that is an? I believe some people might struggle to pay it, but people are paying
People
it.
are
So I
paying.
subscribe to the school of thought that says that is not the major challenge of Nigeria. Now that is not to say that some people will not benefit from it, but I am saying that even when people are, needs it, I know there are some people who need
Needs
that
it.
loan. How possible is
Okay.
it for them to access it?
So our advice that because what we're just saying now, so our advice our government to please look at these criteria, make it seamless. Because I can tell you, I don't want to mention the name of a bank now. So I can tell you there is this particular loan of a bank that you can only access. You don't need any paperwork.
Yeah.
You don't need anybody
I think
telling
it's
you
major
that
banks. A lot of banks
major
do
banks.
that.
So
Yeah.
you just click on their apps, and so because BVN is involved, so federal government should work majorly on BVN and probably NIN, because NIN has gone to a very it has
Advanced
gone
level.
it has,
It's
it's so
really
advanced.
evolving. It's really
So
evolving.
if they really want to help students, if they call it a student
Loan.
loan, student doesn't like wahala. They have so many other things to
attend to.
focus on. They have projects to do. They have assignment. They have research. So they should make it seamless, so easy that we will all clap that this is very nice. This is a very good
I
idea.
would say if governments really want to help students,
Yeah.
they should reduce tuition. Like, they should go back to when tuition was 20,000 naira. That is the way you can actually make education accessible to the least.
But education is not expensive, right?
It's not.
No, it's not cheap. That's what I mean.
Okay,
It's not cheap.
cheap.
It's
In
not cheap.
in my secondary school, our motto was if education is expensive, try ignorance. So
Ignorance
there's no
is-
amount of
is-
money
is
you
not
pay
an
on
option.
education. No, see, Nigerians are paying millions of naira to go outside of this country to
Country,
study. So
multi-millions.
I believe that to fund education properly, it is expensive. I believe that the government should focus
Education
more
is
on
expensive.
giving us quality education
education.
in Nigeria. Sincerely, the percentage of people that really need this access, they are very minimal, in my opinion. And I also feel that as minimal as they are, it is also very difficult for them to access that loan based on the requirements stated in that law. So that law from ab initio needs to be looked into.
Also, let me talk about the interest rates. The interest rate is so high because
No, it's
It's
interest free.
interest free. It's
interest free because it's interest free.
Yes, it's interest
Okay,
free.
I read the part that after your 2 years,
Yeah.
that you are supposed to pay 10%. I don't know if
No.
that's
You start paying. They start removing 10% from your salary. Say you finish school.
Yes, from your salary.
Yes. So it's not. No. That's you paying the principal sum. So
Okay,
I have
okay.
borrowed. Maybe in my school we pay 70K as tuition. So from my 100 to 400 level, I have borrowed 70 times 4. That's like 280,000 naira. So I borrowed 200. It's ridiculous.
That's what I was saying. Like it is actually
For 4
really-
years. So I borrowed 70,000 naira.
70,000.
Right? So I went to NYSC. I finished NYSC and I got
Got a
job at
job.
Edford Chambers. So at Edford Chambers, I'm earning say 100,000 naira
100,000.
per month.
Yes.
Now what the law is saying is that they will be removing 10,000 every month.
I would like to know if this government loan for students is it applicable to people that doing professional courses, for example, law students going to law school, people who write pharmacy, all these people in professional courses that they have to further, but it's not private universities. Like, what do you think? Is it applicable to them?
Well, from what the bill is saying, it's government school, whether technical, university, polytechnic. It's not really specific on those, but I want to believe that Nigerian law school should be part of it because it's still like you're furthering the course of law, right? So and it's a government-owned school. So I want to believe that somebody going to Nigerian law school, and don't forget they always usually people going to law school have challenge with fund. Law school fees is not cheap. It's not cheap, and a lot of people, indigent people, find it hard to get that fund. So maybe I want to believe they can be a beneficiary. But for pharmacy and all of that, I'm not particularly certain because I believe that after your university education, whatever you want to do is your choice. It's not mandatory. That's the these days some people say BSc is not like and it's not like WAEC. So like it's not really a big
And
deal
that's
anymore.
the certificates that the government wants students to get.
Yes, so but I mean it is what it is. Education, I am of the opinion that education is not cheap. I believe that anywhere in the world, I mean if you look at UK, their major source of revenue is education and sport. So education is a big deal, and when a nation is educated, I mean, it tells so much about the youth, the quality of youth we are going to have, the quality of government, people in government we are going to have. I mean, you can imagine in a country where the president, people are saying is a SSC holder, we did not even find the SSC certificate. So it's a whole lot of issues. So when people have good access to education, I believe it's going to help the country, it's going to help the quality of people in the country, and also access to job, because there are lots of people. I do a lot of indigent things around indigent people, so I understand that there are a lot of limitations they have because they do not have education. So I don't take education for granted. I value education a lot, and I believe that everyone, it should be a fundamental human right. Like everybody should be able to access education. But when we have a bill or a law saying this is the access to education, and it is stifled, like I'm not even able to access it. Does this bill really have the indigent people at heart? Do they really understand who these indigent people are? I mean, an indigent person in prison has been given bail of 50,000 naira. He cannot afford 50,000. Now, court is not saying bring 50,000. Court is saying bring somebody that can afford 50,000. And they can't. They don't have any such person. So a lot of people are in prison because of people. I mean, like having quality people. A court says bring somebody of what's it called now? Civil servants of level 12. Where do they want to see it? An Okada rider, where would he see it? So those things people think is easy. It's not easy. Don't forget, by the time you get to the procedure, this is just law, this is just theory we are reading. By the time you look at you get to the practice, it will be harder. Now they will say the guarantor, you must have tax certificate, you must have this, you must have that. At that time, you now realize that is it not better I go and borrow from my neighbor?
Or just work harder and sponsor yourself.
Sponsor yourself.
So I also want to say that
for paybacks, because for every loan that you give out, there must be a payback process, a payback time. So I want to advise our government that as long as they are trying to give out this loan and students finish their NYSCs, we've said this earlier, but I just want to reiterate it. So they should make sure that there is something waiting, there is a job. So there must be because they want to get their money back as well, instead of threatening people with if you cannot pay back, you go to 2 years. It's so unfortunate. So
but I don't think anybody will even have difficulty paying back such amount of money if they have good job.
Yes.
If they have good job.
But
what is the guarantee
that
you get a job? Now, not just a job, a good job.
A good job.
In my opinion, I don't know, but I don't think majority of the Nigerian youths will go after this thing, because I don't think Nigerian youths are lazy. I don't think so.
We are not.
Especially this generation, they are thinking like once they get into school, they are trying to be on their own, make money and make it.
At the same time, they should sensitize these students before anybody just jump into it, because
people will jump into it.
They will jump in.
But you know what?
Yeah.
I'll tell you that by 30-50% of people that will access this loan will not be indigent people. Because if these requirements of the law is what will be mandated in practice, people won't be able to access it.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, it is either the money is there and some people are
just
shopping it, or people who are not indigent are accessing the money. But if we say that it is really for the indigent, these requirements are too stringent. Too stringent.
The funny thing with this act is that Nigerian youths are glad, right? Everybody on social media, our president is working, he's in our favor.
Of course he is.
You have to go through this act yourself. As a student, you have to go through it. Like, just sit down.
And one thing about Nigerian is this: we make laws every day, but a lot of people do not know the content of that law. This particular law in question is not up to 20 pages. So it is good that we understand what our laws are about. And that's why we have people in prison because of ignorance, right? So having to know your rights should be fundamental. So when we say know your right, how do you know your rights when you're not reading? We need to cultivate the habit of reading. I mean, we now have a lot of tools that we have to access information. You can imagine that back in the days, probably you have to go to a library to get this law to read, but now you can click on your phone and you have access to the entire law, and you can read it and consume it and understand it and take informed decision, even if at all you want to opt for something like this. So my encouragement to government is that we should not stop at making the laws, but also sensitizing the public about the law. And that is why the parastatal called National Orientation Agency, that's their function, to sensitize Nigeria about the policies of the government, about the laws being made by the National Assembly, and all of that. So we have to do a whole lot better as a citizen of Nigeria. We have to be very well informed about what our society is all about, what governs our society, what governs our everyday life before we take actions.
Well, we're bringing the show to an end on this stage. Just a final word, like in my opinion, my final word would be that government, I think we need employment more, than loans.
Access to education, right?
Make it seamless as well.
Importantly.
Yeah.
So from me, I would say shine your eyes. Before you take that decision, shine your eyes.
Anyway, it was nice chatting with Oluyemi and Michael. I hope you enjoyed this episode the same way we all did right on this show. And don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share this video with your loved ones so that they can learn one or two things from this video. And please click on the notification bell button so that you can receive notification when next we put out a video on this platform. We hope to see you in the next one. Enjoy your morning, night, afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you.
Bye, guys.